as I told you, the way, thank you Jada, yes. As I told you, the way you're going to calculate the answer today is going to be the same for the first question of the test, okay? Since it's a test, I didn't call a bell work, I called the first question of the test, but it's going to be a picture and the questioning is kind of the same with a different situation. If the pyramids have the same shape, that means they have only different scale, the size are different, but the shape is the same. How greater is the volume? We're going to divide the volume of the large pyramid by the volume of the small pyramid, okay? But what kind of relationship we have? We have a linear relationship. And if you remember yesterday, let's say you have the linear relationship between this edge, for cube root of 4 times L, with this other edge, L. This is the relationship we know, and if you simplify, that is the ratio between the edges. To find the ratio between the volumes, what you have to do with this, this ratio here? We are talking about volumes, we are talking about 3D, right? Three-dimensional figures. So we're gonna use number 3, power of 3, okay? The relationship between the volumes is going to be the linear relationship cubed to the power of 3. And that means it's going to be cube root of 4 cubed, and then simplify, equals to 4. 4 is the right answer. And most of you got the right answer. Yes, most of you select the right number, the right answer. Tomorrow, keep this in mind. You're going to have a problem kind of like that. And on the picture, maybe you will find a different number here. You're going to find something like that. Cube root of a number. And the answer for the problem tomorrow is going to be this number here inside the cube root, okay? Just keep this in mind. Make sure you don't forget to find the right answer tomorrow for the first question of the test. And I'm talking tomorrow, but actually the test is already available. I tried to make it available today as well, because you can have 2 days to work on the test. Maybe if tomorrow you don't have, I know tomorrow is just 1 day, it's Friday, is 1 day before spring break, some people is traveling, some people is really busy, some students have maybe appointments, I don't know, but you still have today. You can work on the test from today. After you finish the quiz, you can go straight over the test, okay? Don't forget, and thank you Jada! Thank you. Remember, this is very similar to the test tomorrow, okay? Have the same parts. We have parts where we're gonna, the first part, let's start with the first part. I'm not gonna solve all the questions. I will solve a few questions from each part. And then at the end, I can give you all the answers. And if you want me to explain or to solve any of the questions that I skipped, we can go back, and if we have time, we can work at the end of the class, okay? So let's start with this. Simplify the radicals, assume that all variables are positive numbers, okay? Letter A. We have 2 times square root of 72 over 8. What you have to do to simplify is break down the 72 into a number that's 1 is a perfect square times another number. And I can think here, a perfect square that can make 72 is 36 times the square root of 2, okay, over 8. Because the square root of 36 we know is 6. Square root of 2 over 8. And we're going to find this is going to be 12 over 8, square root of 2. But we still can simplify, right? We still can simplify because 12 can be divided by 4. and 8 can be divided by 4. So divide by 4 the numerator and denominator, and you have 3 is square root of 2 over 2. This is the right answer for letter A. If you have questions, type on the chat. Let me know. Hello, Lisette. No problem, Lisette. Let me mark you present. For letter B, I will skip. I will give you the answer later. Letter C. Well, we need to break down and find everything that we can simplify, because square root of 9 we can simplify, and we can break down x to the 5th as x to the 4th times x, because we can simplify x to the 4th, and also we can simplify y squared, and we also can simplify z to the 4th. Okay? The only thing that we cannot simplify is going to be this, square root of x. So you keep square root of x like that, and let's start with the square root of 9, which is 3. The square root of x to the 4th is x squared. Then square root of y squared is y, and the square root of z to the 4th, z squared. That is the answer. This is the final answer for letter C. Okay, now I think I'm not going to skip this letter D. I think this one is interesting. Let's solve it. 32 divided by 2, 16, we can simplify, and this W we can subtract from this exponent. See? So we can simplify the denominator, and we will have this is equals to square root of 16 times W to the 5. And we know the square root of 16. We can also simplify the square root of W to the 4th, but we cannot simplify square root of W, so this we keep it. Square root of 16, 4, square root of W to the 4th is W squared times square root of W. This is the right answer for letter D. Okay? Nice. Okay, Terrell, let me mark your present. Terrell. Thank you, Terrell. For letter E, yes. Now, this part is about multiplication, multiply the radicals and simplify. First step, apply distributive property. On letter E, you have 2 square root of 3, and then you have the parentheses with 2 terms, right? So you apply distributive property, multiplying 2 square root of 3 by each one of the terms. That means this is equals 2 square root of 3 times square root of 7, 3 times 7, 21. Positive 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Square root of 3 times square root of 11, square root of 33. And this is the answer. We cannot simplify any further. That's it. This is the final answer. Okay? Just change something real quick. Nice. Next one, let's skip letter F, because it's kind of the same thing you have to do as we've done on letter E. No, let me show here letter F. Let me show letter F so you don't get confused. Distributive property again, okay? And then 3 times 2, 6. Square root of 5 times the square root of 3, square root of 15. Now, the next one, negative of positive negative, and we have 3. Square root of 5 times the square root of 5 is square root of 5, what? Is squared. We can simplify, we can just eliminate the square root of 2, the square root of 5, the square root with the square, right? And we keep the 5, then we have 6 is square root of 15, minus 3 times 5, 15. That's the answer for letter F. I will skip this one and work on letter H because it's kind of the same formula. We will apply a special case. We have been working with this special case a lot on chapter 4 and chapter 5. I don't know if you remember, but I'm going to show you here again. A plus B times A minus B equals to what? A squared minus B squared. This is the formula, the special case, which is the difference of perfect squares. We can call this A and that one B, and then we apply the formula. We're going to have square root of y squared minus 4 squared. And this is equals y minus 16. The same formula I'm going to apply for letter I. Letter G. Same formula. Okay, moving on, because now I have another part of the quiz, and this is about addition and subtraction of radical expressions. For letter I, it's kind of easy because we can identify very easily the like radical. The like radical is going to be square root of 7. So add 4 minus 2, 2 plus 3, 5. The answer is 5 square root of 7. Very simple. This is simple because we don't need to break down the square roots. We find very easily the like radical. But now, and let me show this one. Let me show K. K, skip this and work on K. Let's work on K. Now we don't see like radicals. All the radicals are different. See? Square root of 50, square root of 2, square root of 8. They are all different. But we can simplify. We can break it down because 50 is 25 times 2. Keep this. And 8 is 4 times 2. See? And now it's so good because we can simplify this. Square root of 25 is 5, square root of 2. And square root of 4 is 2. Now we have the like radical square root of 2. In all terms, we need to combine 5 plus 7, 12, minus 2, 10. 10 square root of 2. Right? Nice. Great. Moving on. Let's move. Letter K. K. Done. And we have this. And I think I'm gonna work on. Yeah, let's work on this one. Letter L. Check it out. Because L, we have 2 times cube root of 64. Is cube root of 64 is a perfect cube. 64 is a perfect cube. So we can find the cube root of 64 equals to 4, right? We can simplify. And plus 3 times. But cube root of 54. 54 is not a perfect cube. But you can break it down as 27 times 2. And this is good because we have the cube root of 27. We know the cube root of 27, which is 2 times 4, 8, plus 3 times cube root of 27, 3. The answer is 8 plus 9 cube root of 2. Okay? Good. Now let's skip this and move to that one, letter N. On letter N, what we have to do is simplify the radicals, break it down, and try to simplify the most that you can. So let's break this is 4th root of 16 times 4th root of x minus 3 times 4th root of x to the 4th times 4th root of x. Okay? Nice. X times 4th root of 16. This is, we can simplify. It's going to be 2, right? 4th root of 16 is 2. But this one we cannot. Just keep it like it is, 4th root of x. Cannot simplify at all. 3 times 4th root of x4, yes, we can simplify, is x, 4th root of x. And then we have 2 times x minus 3 times x, negative x, 4th root of x is the right answer. Okay, nice. Done with letter N. Let's move to, and that part of the test, solve the radical equations. I'm going to tell you is the most important part, is where you're going to find more points. Most of the points are here. Okay, each question is worth 1 point. The previous questions, each one are worth 0.5 points. So make sure you understand, you know how to solve radical equations, okay? It's not hard as long as you follow the procedure. Letter O. We have, the radical is already isolated on the left-hand side of the equation, so we just need to apply the same power as the index, and the index here is the square root, so apply the power, the square. No, sorry. And you can simplify the square root of this power of 2. You will have 2y equals 8 squared is 64. Okay? And divide both sides by 2. Y equals 64 divided by 2. And y equals 32. This is the answer for letter O. Okay. Letter O, that's fine. Let's move to letter, and skip letter P, move to letter Q. Now there's a problem. The first step we cannot skip because we need to isolate the radical, and there's this plus 5 here that's bothering us. So let's move this positive 5 to the other side, and it becomes a negative. Okay, so we will have cube root of 2w minus 3 equals 2 minus 5, right? 2 minus 5 is negative 3. Okay. Now apply cube to both sides. See the same index, the same power as the index, and then you're going to find 2w minus 3 equals negative 3 to the power of 3 is negative 27. Move this negative 3 to the other side, it becomes a positive. Then you have 2w equals negative 27 plus 3. 2w equals negative 24. W equals negative 12. Negative 24 divided by 2, negative 12. That's the answer. Letter Q solved. Let's move now to yes, the same thing. You're going to have the radical is not isolated. It has this negative 2 here that's bothering us. So move this negative 2 to the other side to isolate the radical. And then we will have cube root of w minus 1. And when we move this to the other side, it becomes positive. Okay, this is a positive. And 2 plus 2 is going to be 2 plus 2. And 2 plus 2 is 4. Now apply the cube on both sides. Cube here and there, because you want to you want to eliminate the cube roots. Then you have w minus 1 equals 4 cubed is 64. W is 64. Move this negative 1 to the other side, becomes a positive, right? Becomes a positive. 64 plus 1, W equals 65. That's the right answer, 65. All right. And I will skip letter T. If you want, we get back to letter T later. Or I give you the answer. I'm going to give you the answer at the end. Letter U. And that's we have both radicals are together here on this left hand side of the equation, and there's a 0 on the other side of the equation. We need to isolate at least one of the radicals. Maybe you're going to be able to isolate both. We're going to move this to the other side, and actually we will be able to isolate both radicals. This is good. T plus 7 equals square root of 2t minus 3. Apply square on both sides, so you can eliminate the square root, and then you will have t plus 7 equals 2t minus 3. Move this negative 3 to the other side, becomes a positive. Move this t to this side and becomes a negative. 2t. 2t minus t equals 7 plus 3. Okay. 2t minus t equals 7 plus 3. That means t equals 7 plus 3, 10. 10 is the right answer. So letter U. T equals 10. Again, if you have questions, type on the chat. I'm going a bit faster because I want to cover all the questions, or most of the questions. I'm not going to cover all the questions, actually. I'm going to cover most of the questions. And because there are similar questions, you can apply, you can connect. And now let's work on letter W. This is good because the radical is already isolated. So just apply the square, and then you have t minus 5 equals 5 squared is 25. T equals 25 plus 5. T equals 30. So this is the answer. T equals 30. You just need to type on forms the number. Okay, I'm trying to make it easier. Just type the number. For letter X. No, I'm going to skip letter X. Let's work on letter Y. For letter Y, they are kind of isolated. This radical here is isolated, so we apply cube, and these have a negative in front of it. Never mind, just apply the cube on both sides, because we can simplify here. We can simplify this, but don't forget the negative. The negative is in front of both terms, so we can use a parenthesis here. 8x plus 1 equals negative x minus 19, okay? Don't forget this negative that is in front of the whole, the two terms. That means 8x plus 1 equals negative x plus 19. Move this little negative x to the left hand side, becomes a positive. Move this little positive 1 to the other side, becomes a negative, and then we will have 8 plus x, 8x plus x, 9x, and we're going to have 19 minus 1, 18. So x equals 18 divided by 9, x equals True. True is the right answer. X equals 2 is the right answer. And almost at the end. Almost the last question. I know. Yes, we skipped a few questions. But now this is the last question we're going to work. If we have time, we can work a few questions more. As long as you ask me, as long as you want. Letter Z. Okay. Fourth root, we need to isolate radical. It is together here, so we move this to the other side to isolate. And then we have fourth root of p plus 12 equals fourth root of 5p minus 16. Okay? Apply the power of 4 to both sides like this, because you can simplify. And you're gonna get p plus 12 equals to 5p minus 16. Apply addition property of equality, because you're going to move this little p to the other side. And just a reminder, this is addition property of equality. It's the same thing as adding or subtracting p from both sides. Then the effect is that you're going to move this p to the other side of a negative, that's negative p, and move this to the other side, which is going to be a positive. And that is going to be 5p minus p equals and 12 plus 16. 4p equals 12 plus 16, 28. P equals 28 divided by 4. P equals 7 is the answer of letter Z. H, yes, Alani, we can work on H. We still have time. Let me zoom out just a little bit and check the work we have done. Oops. Letter H. H is here. H we have worked. Let me show from A to, in two steps, from A to N, and I'm going to give you the answers for the questions that we didn't work, okay? Let me give you at least the answers. For letter B, A squared, B, C cubed, square root of B. For letter G, 4x minus 9. For letter J, 3 square root of 5. And letter M, 17x cube root of 2x squared. Okay, so this is the first step. First step. Now, next step, let's show them the other questions from O to Z. Letter P, A equals 31. Letter R, M equals 6. Letter T, X equals negative 16. And V, X equals 7. And X, M equals 1. Okay, and just type the numbers. I try to make things a bit easier for you, so just type the numbers. Just type the numbers, don't type X equals or something like that, just the numbers. All right. Now we covered all the questions, or yeah, we covered most of the questions, but at least I'm giving you the answers for all the questions. Remember that tomorrow, or don't need to be tomorrow. You can open the test, is already available. The test is due tomorrow. You're gonna have the pre-period of our class tomorrow to work on the test, but you can start working today, okay? Tomorrow is the due date. On Saturday, I'm not going to get to receive tests or any kind of assignments, right? The due date for all the assignments is tomorrow, Friday. But I'm pretty sure if you follow this quiz, if you use this quiz as a resource, you can have 100% on the tests, of tomorrow. Okay, that is already available today. All right, tell me if you have any questions. If you want me to solve any of those questions that we just skipped, and I give you the answer. But if you want, we can solve it. So you still have a couple of minutes left. And let me show again the first part.